Hi everybody, here's a simple Illustrator tutorial to teach you a few basic skills. We're going to draw a kind of primitive teapot. Let's take our ellipse tool and let's make one big ellipse for the body of the teapot, and let's give it a color. Okay. A couple of more ellipses that are going to form the handle. And let's get that smaller one in the front of the layer stack so that we can still see it. Okay, put them together. Put the whole thing more or less where we want it. Okay, and now we are going to select all three of these objects, the three ellipses. We're going to take our shape builder tool, which is over here, and we're going to click and drag to connect the areas that we want to connect. So the first thing we want to connect is all of this. We want that to be one big shape. We want to add that teapot handle shape to the whole thing, and then we want to take this space, which is the hole, the negative space, hold down the Option key and click to delete that. Okay, we're done with the shape builder, so we go back to the selection tool, and now we have one path that forms our entire teapot. It's a compound path, and what that means is that the negative space of the handle where you see this hole is cut out so that other objects can show through behind it. So if we now make another rectangle in the back, let's change its color, light blue, something like that. Okay, fine. We send that to the back of the stack, and we see that the hole of the handle reveals the object behind it, just like we would expect it to. So that's fine for now. Let's make a couple more shapes to add to this. Okay, let's add a little small circle up here to be the lid, the handle of the lid. Let's take the eyedropper tool and click in here so that those are the same color. Let's take another ellipse, and this time I'm going to make a fill color of none. Keep the black, oops, not you. I'm doing that, I want to deselect that shape. Select the ellipse tool. Fill color of none. That's going to be the line between the lid and the teapot. So again, shape builder. We select this one and this one. Shape builder and delete that so that we have just this path forming the edge of the lid. Bring that to the front so that it hides that back line there, so it all looks like we want it to. Okay, let's take our pen tool and let's draw the spout of the teapot. So click and click to make a straight line. Click and drag to make a curved line. Option to turn off that Bezier curve so that the next thing we make will have a straight corner and not be curved. And great, that's actually all we need to do. Now we have a nice little spout sticking out, and we can even add one more ellipse there to represent the hole in the spout. Okay, so that is a fine looking teapot. A couple of other things that we might want to do is we could make this actually look a little bit more like a tabletop. So here's where you want to use the direct selection tool. That's the little white triangle tool, the one you don't use very often. And what the direct selection tool lets you do is click on each corner of that shape and drag it around. And so you want to deform it, distort it, until it starts looking like an actual tabletop in perspective. So there's a lot of different ways you can do that. It's not going to be completely accurate perspective drawing. This is not a 3D drawing environment. It's going to be a more schematic, artistic version, but you'll get the idea across. Okay, so something like that. So that's actually not a bad place to stop. I think we might want to take this entire thing and spin it just a little bit because it looks like it's sliding downhill. Yeah, it's a little better. Now, other things that you might want to add to this, maybe a little shadow underneath. So here's a way to do that. Let's get our fill color to be, a light gray. Stroke color is going to be none. We're going to draw an ellipse. Get it sitting where you want the shadow to sit. And again, remember your layer order. This needs to go back. This needs to go back all the way down until it's sitting right on top of the table. Okay, so now it's sitting where a shadow should sit, but it doesn't quite look like a shadow. It looks like an opaque thing. And so what we want to do here is change its opacity, ping up your transparency window. You'll find all of these down here in the window menu. Transparency, let's turn down the opacity, make it something like 60. And the blending mode instead of normal should be multiply because that's going to darken what's underneath it. So now already it's behaving a little bit more shadow-ishly. If you want to take down that sharp edge of it a little bit, we can throw a little blur on it. So the Gaussian blur filter from the effect menu. Again, it's not like a super photographic looking thing, but it's kind of a nice shadow effect. And again, the multiply mode is the one you want to use to make a shadow look somewhat realistic. And by the same token, if you wanted to put a little highlight on here, maybe. So we want our fill color to be white. And here for the highlight, we want the blending mode to be screen. And the opacity can be maybe something like 80. And if we now give that some blur, I think we will find that it is a reasonable looking highlight. Experiment with the opacity, experiment with the size and the blur radius. There's no one right answer to these, but something like that. That's okay, that's creditable. All right, there you have it. There's our teapot with its compound path negative shape handle, its shadow set to multiply mode, its highlight set to screen mode, and the tabletop that we distorted from a straight rectangle using the direct selection tool. So that'll do it.